From Central Indiana's #1 news source, this is Fox 59 Tonight.
Good evening. We welcome you back to another edition of Fox 59 Tonight. I'm Cameron Riddle. Thanks for downloading our new smart TV app here at Fox 59. You can find it on your Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, and now on Samsung. Just search for Fox 59 Now. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss any of the conversations that we have every night at 8 o'clock. Today, we're talking about community, talking about good that is being done in the community, and introducing you to another community organization that is doing some of that good. I've never heard of this organization, Voices, but we're going to learn about it today and the work that they're doing in the summer, what they're doing with kids during the school year, the whole shebang. To tell us more about Voices is Sam Zachrich. She's in our studio right now. Hi, Sam.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on. I love learning about all the different organizations that are working to do good in the city. And I'm excited to hear about Voices. I'm sorry that I'm not familiar with it until now, but I'm excited to learn more. Tell me more. What is Voices?
Yeah, I'm very excited to tell you. So we are a nonprofit located in Indianapolis. We work with clients all over Marion County, and we just actually opened up a location in Terre Haute as well. We focus on youth and families, and we work to empower them to make change in their life. So we focus on self-expression, we focus on healing. We are very client-driven, so it's not us dictating what they need. They come to us, we work with them. It is very focused on us being a support and a resource to them so they can live self-sufficient, independent lives.
How long has Voices been around?
So we've been around for about 15 years.
Okay. We'll find you where, on the east side?
Yep, we're on the far east side.
Okay.
Yep.
So this is also coming to the end of Mental Health Awareness Month, but you guys are playing a big role in that space. What have you guys been up to?
Yes. So this summer we partnered with OPHS, and we came up with a mental health and wellness cohort for youth. So we had teens from all over the city. We had about 20, and we trained them in first aid mental health, and we trained them in leadership development, community building, and advocacy. And so throughout the summer, they've been going through these trainings, and then we have a really amazing event on Saturday that is kind of culminating all of the things that they've learned, what they want to talk about, and we're really excited to lift their voices up.
So what are the kids telling you? I always hear, we hear the teenagers say, nobody asks us, nobody,
Yes.
People are telling us what we're going to do, but nobody asks us what we want to do. What are you guys hearing?
Yes, I think we definitely hear the same thing. There's definitely conversations that we've had where adults tend to talk around the kids and they don't bring them into those conversations. So kids are feeling dismissed. They're feeling isolated. We've seen an increase in suicidal ideation among teens, also them feeling sad and lonely and those feelings of hopelessness. But we've also heard that a lot of kids want to be trained in mental health. And that was one of the reasons that we were so excited about this initiative. They want the language, they want the coping skills, they want to be a voice and a part of the solution and not just be dictated by adults and told what to do. So this was really exciting.
So you guys got $25,000 from the Burn Grant from OPHS. And that'll support your programming during the summer.
Yes.
What is different about why summer?
Well, the summer, the kids are busy, right? So they do have athletics and things like that. But we also wanted it, it's a time where they have more freedom. So they're not going to school. There's not set schedules. So we really wanted to capitalize on that. And we really wanted to give them a space where they're filling up time, but they're also doing something really productive. And we're hoping that within this time, we can also continue this work into the school year. So we're hoping to do virtual sessions, keep the kids connected to each other, and also build on that. So while they're at school, maybe tell their friends about this cohort. Do they want to be a part of it? And then we can build out that community throughout the school year.
What is going on during the school year? Are you guys still active when kids are in school?
Yeah, so we have we have a bunch of different programming. We will still be active with this cohort throughout the school year. Voices also has other programming like Power and Promise and Real Talk, where we are focusing on mental health and advocacy and also building community. That's one of the big points with Voices is we find when youth and families have really strong community, they're able to make more change.
Now I'm not going to ask you how old you are, Sam, but
Thank you.
but in previous generations, when you and I were growing up, mental health not something we talk about.
No.
Not cool.
Yep.
Yeah, is there a shift now to where I think for older people, it's still like you have to convince them to talk about it?
For sure.
Do you still have to do that with younger people?
It really depends. I think sometimes you see that. I think it's definitely, what is the vibe in the home? And sometimes you see that with the kids. But I do feel like this generation and youth right now really want to be bold. They really want to talk about what's going on. They want to take back some of that control in a really positive way and make change for their peers. That was something that came up a lot this summer was like, yes, I have my story on mental health and I want to help myself, but I also want to know how to help my peers. So we're going back to that community space again, which I think is really important.
So how do you get in to that space? And part of it, as you kind of already alluded to, everybody's coming from a different place. Everybody's how they deal with it in their own home is different. How do you try to meet everybody where they are?
I think that vulnerability piece is really important. And what I learned from these kids over the summer is, they all came from very different spaces in the city. But when they started talking and they started sharing their story, they had a voice. They started to connect and see how much they had in common. And maybe, they weren't coming from the same space, but there was still a lot of commonality there. And I think when people are able to tell their story, it's really powerful and it makes people more vulnerable, and it also opens the space for other people. You could see the kids that had maybe more confidence in themselves that were sharing their stories, making other space for kids that were maybe a little more hesitant, and they were just able to make like a really amazing space for each other, and I think that's really important.
So let's go back and kind of zoom out and then zoom in when we talk about voices. So and I'm doing that because this week you guys have the culmination of the cohort that has been with you since summer, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's in there, but let's start. Voices, bring it back out is what?
So Voices, we're really focusing on youth and families. We have 13 different programs that are throughout Marion County. And we really focus again on advocacy, community building. Our mental health programming is really starting to kick off. And that was in large part to kids that we were working with asking for it. So the whole reason I feel like I have a job is because kids were using their voice and they were saying, hey, I need a space to talk about mental health. I feel depressed, but I don't know what to do with that. So we're expanding our mental health programming. We have things, like I mentioned, like Power and Promise that goes into schools and teaches kids advocacy, but they also talk about like identity, how to develop your voice as a young person and how to use it. So that's kind of us in a nutshell. We're very like youth and family oriented, and then we have these smaller specific programs throughout the city.
So leadership skills, community building, advocacy.
Yep. And we're very much about community. So we also have like a food pantry because we saw the need in our community at our building. And then we also have like Marsha's Closet, which is a place that people can come and get clothing and get like hygiene products and also some home products as well. So
year round, this time of year, is this a place where kids are coming after school? I know you said you're in schools too.
Yeah, we're mainly in schools, but we do have some like Power and Promise will go through the summer. We do like virtual cohorts. We'll also have programming in our building. Like we have a day reporting program. So we work with justice involved young men, and that's throughout the year. And then we also have transitional housing programs. So we have Jake's Place, which is for 20 to 24-year-olds that have been experiencing homeless, and they can come to our program and stay with us for 15 months. So we have stuff like that going on year round. And in the summers where we get to do fun things like this cohort.
So tell us about summertime, because this is obviously, since school is not in, you get a little more time with the people in the program. What age group are we talking about? And who are they?
Yeah. So for the cohort, it was mainly high school age kids. So it was boys and girls. We did have a larger number of boys participating,
Okay.
but mainly high school age. Our programming for voices in general, when we look at youth, it's typically 13 to 24,
Okay.
Boys and girls. So.
And what is the need, or where do these people where do they come from? I asked that, and like, kids go to the Boys and Girls Club so their parents can have a babysitter and they can stay safe. Yep. They come to you to do.
They're coming to us for like a lot of the trainings. Like if you look at our day reporting program, they're coming to us typically from the court. They're court ordered to come and work with us for like things like our transitional housing and emergency shelter care. They could be coming from all different kinds of spaces. So from other community partners, sometimes DCS, sometimes the courts again. And then like Power and Promise, we have really great community partnerships and partnerships with the school. So sometimes they'll send us kids as well.
When the people in your program, when they're coming to you and they're justice involved, obviously something has happened. Maybe they didn't make a good decision somewhere along the lines or whatever it may be. What part are you guys playing? And I would assume making sure that doesn't happen again.
Yeah. So for those kiddos, we really try and come at it as a whole, right? So we focus on work development, we focus on life skills, and we also have a really big mental health component. And these kids oftentimes will come in similar to the cohort and say that they don't feel like they have a lot of control. There's a lot of things going on that they know that they've made a bad decision, but they want to make a change, and sometimes they don't know how. And they've never been given that space to be themselves, take control. What does accountability look like? You know, I have this trauma. How can I work through this? So, and we also really try and dive into who this kid is. So it's not like a one size fits all type thing, like A plus B equals C. We really got to dive into who is this kid? What makes them tick? What do they get excited about? And a lot of times, like, we'll dive into the creative side of a kiddo. They might really be into studio things like this. Like we have Real Talk where the kids do a podcast. So it's like, how can we kind of tap into who this kid is and really pull out those assets of them?
So the cohort begins the beginning of summer, end of May?
Yeah. So we started at the beginning of June. So like right when kids were getting done with school, and we kicked off with a cool retreat. They got to know each other. It was a lot of fun.
Where'd you guys go for the retreat?
We did it in our building. So we're in an old school, so we have lots of space. So we did it there, and it was really fun.
Plenty of room to take a field trip inside the building.
Yes, exactly.
So fast forward, we've gone through summer, August. Now it's actually technically fall.
I know.
You have an event coming up this weekend.
Yes.
Tell me more.
We're very excited about it. So this is all youth led. So the adults, we are strictly here for support and logistics. And the youth really wanted to make it about advocacy, building awareness, and also coming up with solutions together. So we're going to kick it off with a youth-led panel where they're going to talk about mental health, share their stories, what they've seen, what they feel like is missing, what adults can do. And then they came up with 4 different topics. So we're going to have breakout rooms that people can go to and have more intimate discussions. The kids have come up with activities to do, and then each room has like a resource folder that people will be able to have information with those. And then we're going to come back together. Everybody's going to share what they've learned, and we're going to come up with solutions together. There's also a taco bar. So, you know, tacos and mental health are a good combo.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in this, and I believe I'm saying the grant name right, it's the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant.
Yes.
Federal funding that went to the City of Indianapolis, to the Office of OPHS, Office of Public Health and Safety. When you guys are writing these grants and asking for them, what is it that you need? What are you going to do with this $25,000?
Yeah, so a lot of it's training, right? So we did the mental health first aid. The kids get certified in that.
Okay.
Leadership training, community building.
Which is an underrated skill to have.
Yes.
First aid. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And it really taught them, what are signs to look for, what they look for in themselves. And
Mm-hmm.
we're not asking the kids to diagnose each other with
Right.
something, but it's like, what can you do in a crisis?
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that we've heard repeatedly from youth, is that they want to have a skill set. So
Mm-hmm.
we were really focused on that this summer and using that money to
Mm-hmm.
really make sure that we're building these skills. So if a kid is in a situation and there's not an adult around, they know what to do. They know how to use their
Mm-hmm.
voice. They know what to look for, and they feel confident in
Mm-hmm.
that. So we use that, and it's a lot of evidence-based materials that we're using in these trainings with the kids, also the space, and we put a lot of money towards the event as well to make sure that it was up to the kids' standards,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
they were hitting everything that they wanted.
How many kids can you take in this program?
So this time we took 20.
Okay.
And we kept it a little smaller, and that felt like a good number for the kids.
Okay. Do you guys what are I'm curious about some of the leadership things that you guys are talking about during the school year as well?
Yeah. So do you mean like what they learned?
Yeah.
Or okay. So we really tried to make sure that they understood what leadership is. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have to look one way.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe some of the quieter members
Mm-hmm.
in the cohort still have fantastic leadership skills.
Mm-hmm.
It just looks different.
Mm-hmm.
So we really tried to
Yeah,
make
just because
sure
you're loud doesn't mean you're a good leader.
that part. Yes, I think that was definitely a topic of discussion that we had during this process. And it was like, how can you kind of look into yourself and use your natural skills and your ability to become a good leader? And then how can you take that into this, school space, into your home, and really advocate for yourself and your peers?
So, how do you, or what okay, actually, before I go to that question, the students that you are meeting during the school day, during the school year, are those some of the same students from the summer program?
Yes, sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does one get to connect with voices? I should ask both if you've got somebody who's just as involved. Does it have to come from the court system to say you need to hook up with voices?
No,
Okay.
not necessarily. So our day reporting program is pretty specific to the court. But like if they were interested in Power and Promise or Real Talk or some of our mental health initiatives, they do not have to be referred from somebody else. They can, we have a really great email list, our socials, they can contact us, and we can make sure that they get to the right program, depending on what they need.
So I know you've kind of dabbled into all these already, but Power and Promise, that programming is about?
So it's a 6-week program, and that is all about identity. So you're digging into yourself and how you identify some of your triggers. How does trauma impact you? And then it moves into, developing some coping skills, but then also how do you develop your voice and how do you become an advocate? It's a 6-week program, and then the kids get paid at the end.
They get paid?
Yes, they get paid for. Yes, they get paid for this training. Yeah, they're putting in the time, the hard work.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the other program is?
So then Real Talk, they have a podcast, and I always like to say it's teenagers pretty much telling us adults what we're missing. So they interview they interviewed me one time for mental health, and they were just asking, like, why aren't we doing more? Like, what are we missing? They've done stuff on gun violence and interviewed some public officials and stuff. So they have their own podcast, and they're telling us what's up and what we need to do better.
Well, they should come here, and we can do like a guest setup.
Yes.
we can all talk and see what's on their mind. So if that part has piqued the interest of some folks, how should they contact you guys?
So probably the best way is we have our contact info on our website, and that is the best way, and that will go to our team that will then push it out.
And that website is what?
It's voicescorp.org.
Okay, I'm going to pull that up for everybody.
Be bad if I get that wrong.
Let's see. .org. Well, I didn't spell it right, so let's start with that. Voicescorp.org.
Yeah, Corp,
Here you go.
CORP. Yeah.
There it is.
Awesome.
So you mentioned the mailing list, programs. Tell me, we didn't get into housing.
Yes.
You mentioned that earlier.
It's a big initiative that we have. So we have Jake's Place, which is for 20 to 24-year-olds. They get their own apartment. The referral is right on the website if somebody needs it.
Okay.
And in that 15 months that they're with us, they are paired with a caseworker who they'll work with regularly. And then we also offer mental health support. So if they want like one-on-one therapy, we have that available. If they want their wellness to look differently, we'll work with them as well. And we're just trying to get them to live self-sufficiently and independently. So teaching a lot of life skills. And
what would be the prerequisites to get in that program?
so typically, the youth that have been with us have experienced homelessness or their housing is unstable.
Okay.
hmm And then we also have Blossom House.
And that is, what's Blossom House?
Blossom House is our emergency shelter care. So that's for young men 13 to 18. And that's a shorter stay. So they're typically with us for 90 days. It could be respite. They could be just in between spaces, depending on what their home life was. And typically we'll get those referrals from probation, DCS, community referrals. We have a lot of really great community partners that we've worked with who've referred kids as well.
And then is it your guys' task after that to place them somewhere?
We work with the team. Yeah. So
Okay.
we will help with the transition. And while they're with us, if they need to be enrolled in school, we'll help with that. Skill building. There's obviously lots of mental health support for them. Do we need to work with the parents and the family? However, we need to make the transition a really positive one in their next step.
Okay. A lot of good resources here. So do you guys need additional staff, volunteers, donations?
Oh, we need all of the above. All of the above. We love volunteers. We have had some really amazing people in the past work with us. So we have volunteers that come on Tuesdays and Thursdays that work in our food pantry and in Marsha's Closet. We're always looking for volunteers to tutor to help with our day reporting boys. And then, I think we have a couple job openings right now.
Okay. Okay.
I think we were looking for some people at Blossom House as well.
I think that would be on the website somewhere,
Yes,
right?
it should be.
Let's try to see if I can't find it before we go here. Let's see. Contact. I'm sure there's a careers page. Programs. Get involved. Volunteers. Community partnerships. Corporate partnerships. I'm sure you could always use more of those big corporate partnerships, right?
I'm always here for that. Yes. And we actually have a fundraiser. We have a golf outing the first Sunday in October. If anybody wants to come and support Voices, it's always a really fun day.
And I would ask you to add that I'm assuming that, you've even already surprised me by saying that some of these programs, the people who take them, they get paid at the end because now they've not only got this training that betters themselves, they have a new skill.
Yep.
But is anyone paying to take advantage of these services? Do they cost?
Most of ours are free.
Okay.
There are some that you do pay for.
Okay.
But most everything is free.
And whether it's free or you pay for it, if there's some cost, I'm sure it's not the full cost. No. Because somebody is helping to pick up the tab. So really nothing's free.
Yes.
For you guys.
This is very true. Yes. Nothing is free for us. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is all the more importance of asking for, people to continue to contribute.
Yes.
With either their wallet or their time.
Yes. It's a critical part of how we function. So those donors, those volunteers, sponsors, it impacts us greatly, but also the impact that they can have on youth and families is really amazing to see.
Okay. Sam, I'll show everybody the website one more time before we go. voicescore.org. That is VOICESCORP.org. Sam, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having
appreciate
me.
You.
Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for what you all are doing. Every nonprofit that I bring in here, I hear about just how hard things have become for everybody. And I would assume that you guys have probably even faced some cuts from funding.
Yeah. We have. Yeah.
I was surprised when I saw that one was from the federal government, which has done a lot of cutting, as has the state. So Have you guys been able to overcome that, or are you still like having to?
Yes, and we have a really amazing, very creative executive team, and our leader Kia Wright is just phenomenal with her problem solving. So they have been able to get back a lot of that money, but we have seen a lot of grants, and actually our mental health and community wellness initiatives were hit the hardest. So we're very excited to see this grant over the summer, and anything that we can get is awesome, but it has been hard to work through that.
Okay. Well, if you're out there and you want to help Voices continue their mission of what they're doing, you can reach out to them. I'm sure Sam and the staff would love to hear from you.
Yes, we appreciate it.
All right. More of Fox 59 Tonight is coming up right here on Fox 59 Now. We'll be right back.